Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome to this Saturday Sutta study class. I also offer you the sincere blessings of the Noble Triple Gem to explore the Dhamma with the given period of time, with the given topic, and cultivate, interest, more Dhamma in this time period so that you would be reaching your goal soon. With that wholesome thought in mind, I'm going to begin today's Sutta discussion. Today is September 3rd here in Canada, and those who join with us from Sri Lanka, they are it is early in the morning for you, and we wish you a very good morning with the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem and the powerful energies you all develop with this Dhamma discussion be with you and your family and everyone. So let me begin the Sutta studies with the due respect to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. The blessed may I offer my sincere blessings to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dhamma friends, it is a great pleasure to discuss the Dhamma with Kalyana Mittas like you, because we as monks need Kalyana Mittas in the Sasana, in the order of bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, as well as in the lay community. Having joined with this weekly Sutta discussion, you help yourself and your friends in the Sutta study group as well as monks to explore the Dhamma for their benefits and also cultivate it in the name of Sila, Samadhi and Panya. With that in mind, I just want to tell you that we have selected a very important topic today. Like the other days, it is Sati Sampajañña. As I mentioned you in the email with the flyer, we are going to explore the knowledge of the Sati Sampajañña, the importance of Sati Sampajañña for our training. At the very beginning, I just want to give you information about it, and also tells you some places about a very particular Dhamma fact in the entire Tripitaka, and urge you to read more to get in the practice with the particular term. This is real. This belongs to our real practice. Some teachings are not applied by some people because they have been practicing other ways of Dharma. But this particular fact, Sati Sampajañña, like Yoniso Manasikara and Sati, Sammaditi, right understand, they are very important for everyone. So this is something that has been discussed within the discourse, so that we don't find the suttas with the title Sati Sampajañña very much, but we can find one or two with the term. But like Sati, Sammaditi, Vedana, Upadana, we can find many discourses in the Nikayas like Sangyutta, Anguttara, Uddaka, and so on, even Majjhima Nikaya. But this Sati Sampajañña is included in the teaching with other important aspects of the Dhamma. Usual understanding about Sati Sampajañña, or general understanding about Sati Sampajañña, is that Sihi Nuwaning in Sinhala, Sihi Nuwaning Sitima, being mindful about everything with the application of wisdom. Having this meaning in mind, the Pali term has been translated in different ways by different scholars. One of the famous is clear comprehension. Clear comprehension and thorough understanding, because it has two terms, Sati and Sampajañña. Sati, if you take as one single cardinal principle, we term it as mindfulness, awakening, awakening to the moment, and so on. Sampajañña is always defined as a part of wisdom, part of knowledge of everything. So when you take both words together, as the Buddha explained in Satipatthana and elsewhere, clear comprehension has been the definition, or the the English word, two words that many scholars take when they talk about the Sati Sampajañña in English. So that I go with that, and I know that many other terms that you can use. The link I send you in the email, if you click on it, you go to Bante, I think, Sujato's translation, and he has given a very interesting definition for it, translation for it. It's called mindfulness and situational awareness. Sampajañña is translated as situational awareness, which is interesting too, because if you look at the Satipatthana where the Buddha explained Sati Sampajañña, he meant being mindful and wise about your physical behavior. When you walk, be mindful and wise or noble that you are walking. Be mindful of eating, be mindful of drinking water, be mindful of talking, be mindful of silence. So situational awareness, that term is also quite matching, because depending on the way you keep your body, depending on the things you do, you become mindful about it with wisdom. So I think we can discuss many things about it. So this is what it is in simple terms. Sampajañña. When you take the word Sampajañña, it has two words also combined together. Janya means knowledge, being aware. I'm not a Pali scholar, but I know little Pali to the extent to understand the Buddha's teaching or reading discourses. So Janya means is coming knowing. Sampajañña means knowing well, knowing clearly. That's why clear comprehension is really matching with Sampajañña. So friends, that is Sampajañña. Why do we need this particular aspect to be understood? Because one thing is very clear with when you look at the Satipatthana, it is the very quality that mindfulness is connected to Samadhi. If you look at the very statement Buddha used, Kaye Kayanupassi Viharati Atapi Sampajano Satima Vinaya Loke Abhijjado Manassa. In meaning, the meditator is mindful of the body, on the body, for overcoming greed, intense greed and hatred, and how he or she overcome the greed and hatred, be atapi, ardently, and atapi with the application of effort or virya, and then atapi sampajano, with wise wisdom, and satima, mindfulness. So the very important factor called sati or mindfulness is not being able to develop by anyone. It has to be developed on the basis of wisdom and also virya samma vayam in the Noble Eightfold Path, so that how the Buddha mean samadhi in the Satipatthana training is sati sampajañña. So sati sampajañña is really important with regard to practicing mindfulness. Now I go to few commentarial definitions too, because it is important. The Sampajañña is being explained by the commentators in different ways, which I would like to explain them in details later on. But right now, I just take these definitive phrases. Samma pakarehi anicchadini janati sampajañña. The one statement from the commentary is that one who knows in a right way impermanence as well as suffering and egolessness has called Sampajañña. So Sampajañña means knowing what, being mindful and wise about what, the impermanence of everything, and suffering and egolessness nature. So you are going to know about such things on behavior, and we come to know what exactly it is later on. So basically knowing impermanence and suffering and things like that is called Sampajañña. The other statement the commentators give is samanato samantato pakarehi pakatattang va savisesang janati sampajañña. The meaning is one who understands the totality clearly with wisdom from all angles. Within bracket it says of whatever is manifesting, or who knows distinctly as So one who understands the totality clearly with wisdom from all angles is called Sampajañña. Let me go to the third statement. Samma samantato samancha pajananto sampajañña. One who knows in a right way in totality through one's own wisdom is Sampajañña. So these are some of the important statements from commentary to understand Sampajañña. So I just want to go to the discourse which I sent you through email. And then it says like this: Mendicant, when there is no mindfulness and Sampajañña, situational awareness, one who lacks mindfulness and situational awareness has destroyed a vital condition for, what you call, Sati Sampajañña Vipassana Hatupanisang Hoti Hiriotappa. So it does mean that when there is no genuineness, or what do you call Hiriotappa, it happens because they don't have vital condition for sense restraint. So when you don't have Sampajañña with regard to Hiriotappa, being having the hiri means dislikeness and dislikeness to do bad things, and also fear of doing bad things, so they are very important elements of the Dharma. So when you lose these things, it is because of lack of those important Sampajañña. So in this sutta, if you read from the beginning to the end, you can find Sati Sampajañña is being explained everywhere. Without it, we cannot expect other good things to happen. So that is simply what the discourse says. Now in Samadhi Bhavana Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, the section called Rohitassa Vagga. I know many people know about Samadhi Bhavana Sutta. It talks about the purpose of Samadhi in 4 ways. And one of the important aspect of Samadhi is like this. Katamach bhikkhave Samadhi Bhavana bhavita bahuli kata sati sampajaññaya sangvatta. So it means that whenever one develops Samadhi, concentration in every angles, it helps one to develop sati sampajañña, right? Let me get the So when one develops samadhi in the meditation, it is for developing mindfulness and also the knowledge or wisdom or sampajañña. So when further it is said, bhikkhuno vidita vedana uppajjanti, vidita upattahanti, vidita abbattan gacchanti, vidita sanya, and so on. So it means that this is a very important. When meditator usually meditate knowing sensations arising. So here knowing means sampajañña. So sampajañña is clearly explained what it is for. Here it says when feeling arises, it should be known by the meditator, and sampajañña is for that purpose. Let me read the whole statement. How does the meditator understand thoroughly? Herein, the meditator knows sensation arising in him, knows they are persisting, and knows they are vanishing. So, very purpose of sati sampajañña is to know the arising, existing, and passing of feeling. When the meditator meditates on any subject he or she takes, he is going to know the perceptions arising and existing and also vanishing. Again, the meditator knows each initial application, what we call vitakka, and its arising vitakka, arising of vitakka, existing of vitakka, and vanishing of vitakka. So this is how a meditator understands thoroughly. They said this is what sati sampajañña is in the Samadhi Bhavana Sutta. This statement is found in Samadhi Bhavana Sutta, and also Sati Sutta in Satipatthana, the same statement is there. So sati sampajañña means there that we know arising of vedana feeling and sanya, vitakka, and also of course perception sanya. So knowing arising of vedana, sanya, vitakka, existing of these 3 things, and also vanishing of these 3 is called sati sampajañña. So you now you understand what sati sampajañña means, knowing the impermanence of vedana, sanya, vitakka, and other things. So basically it deals with knowing impermanence, because it is a part of wisdom. It is the way the wisdom is applied with mindfulness and perseverance in Satipatthana. So friends, therefore, Sampajañña, whatever word you call, either clear comprehension or any other, should be done that kind of things for us in the training. Everything that arises in the mind is accompanied or understood by that is called Sampajañña. So now, as you know, it is not the Buddha's own word, but we can find it in the commentaries that there are 4 types of Sampajañña that should be understood, because it is very helpful for you. Sampajañña. The commentators categorized Sampajañña into 4 based on the nature of our wisdom, how we use wisdom in the training. Sampajañña is therefore fourfold. First one is Sattaka Sampajañña. Second one is Sappaya Sampajañña. And the third one is Gochara Sampajañña. And the last one, the fourth one is Asammoha Sampajañña. So once again, 4 Sampajaññas are there. Sattaka Sampajañña, Sappaya Sampajañña, Gochara Sampajañña, and Asammoha Sampajañña. What does this mean? Sattaka Sampajañña means the purpose. The Pali word Sattaka means, Atta means meaning, Sa means with meaning. So Sattaka Sampajañña means you know the meaning of what you do. When you walk, you know why and how I walk. So you know the purpose of work. When you do something like cleaning the kitchen, you know the purpose of the action you do, right? Isn't this giving us a kind of prevention from wrongdoing? Because whatever you are going to do have been thoroughly thought about before you do before you do it. So that means you know the purpose of what you are doing. So the Sampajañña has been worked. When the Buddha advised Venerable young Rahula in Nambalatika Rahulawada Sutta, he says, before you do something, think about the results of what you do. So if the results are beneficial for you and everyone, then do it because it is beneficial for you and everyone. So if doesn't give you benefit, but other party, it is not done because it is giving you the benefit only one party. So like that, the Buddha advised Venerable Rahula about the purpose of whatever he should do, so that it teaches us Sati Sampajañña there, Sattaka Sampajañña. The sense here is distinguishing between what is important and what is unimportant. When you think about the purpose of any actions you do, you are doing something great because you say, is this beneficial for my peace of mind or not? Or it is beneficial for practicing Dhamma or not? It is beneficial for anyway for me to reaching to the final goal. So that is very important. That is called Sattaka Sampajañña in short. The second one is Sappaya Sampajañña. It means you look at the benefit. Again, benefit. First one is purpose. You know, you talk about the purpose, and if the purpose is wholesome, you select to do it. And now you talk about the benefit. So that is called Sappaya Sampajañña. And the third one is Gochara. Gochara means usually Gochara is the Pali term or Sinhala term, basically Pali and Sanskrit, for the field that the cows are fed by the person who look after the cows, cow herd. So when it comes to the Dhamma, Gochara means the domain. The domain means with regard to Satipatthana, Kaya is a domain, Vedana is a domain, and then Chitta, mind is a domain, and whatever arises in the mind in the name of Dhamma is a domain. So with regard to body in the meditation, we have this Gochara. It means you are mindful with wisdom about your body, about the behavior of the body. In the commentary, it further says that this Gochara Sampajañña has 2 categories. One is dealing with the internal behavior, and the other one is something outside. It means when you have something arising like the Vedana and Sanya and Vitakka, they are all internal aspects of our mind. So when they arise and persist and vanish, we become aware of it and also take wise decision on it. That's called Gochara Sampajañña. And suppose you are having something external, for example, when you go for alms, when you go for meeting a person, when you go to a shopping mall, when you go to the bus station and train station, when you go to the office, you know what exactly you are going to have, and so you become become knowledgeable about what you are going to do there, and so on. That's called Gochara. So the commentary mainly talks about that Gochara Sampajañña is talking about the impermanence of anything and everything you come across. For example, you go to the shopping mall and you see people. So, and you see the shopping malls, and all these things are external objects that that come through your eyes or through ears. So as soon as you perceive them, you think they are impermanent. They are subject to rising and passing and so on. That's called Sampajañña there. So now we come to the last one, that is Asammosa Sampajañña. It's called non-delusion Sampajañña. Asammosa is non-delusion or without ignorance, and it means that you have thorough understanding about what is happening in and out of the body, in and out of the feeling and everything. So seeing the impermanence of everything is called Asammosa Sampajañña. We will no presence of ignorance at all about what you do and what you think and so on. So that is called Asammoha Sampajañña. So again, these four Sampajaññas are not in the basic suttas in any Nikaya, but this has been developed by the commentators later on. But when we think about the details of each Sampajañña, we have no doubt that they are very good for understanding our mind, our purpose and everything on the Dhamma. In short, if we analyze everything together, like, Sahataka Sampajañña, Sappaya Sampajañña, Gochara Sampajañña, Asammo Sampajañña, we know the purpose of our practice. We know the purpose of this life. So if we know the purpose of this life in line with the Buddha's teaching, that is called the first Sampajañña. So you have it. Then you know the benefit of those purposes, practices, so that you select only beneficial things to do. So that is called the second Sampajañña. Then you become mindful about your internal and external behavior. In whatever come to your mind is thoroughly understood as impermanence and so on, and whatever is existing outside of your senses are called external objects. So you understand their nature as well. So then when you have the first one and the second one and the third one, of course you have the fourth one too. You have Asammosa Sampajañña. You have a kind of wisdom that never deludes you, that never make you mistake, because Asammosa means without ignorance, without delusion. That means wisdom is always there. So that is what the commentary says about Sampajañña. Sampajañña, yes. So in the Sampajañña Sutta, as I forwarded you, I'm going to read it again from somewhere in the middle. Yeah, from here. When there is true knowledge and vision, one who has fulfilled true knowledge and vision has fulfilled a vital condition for disillusionment and dispassion. Yatabhuta jnana dasane sati, yatabhuta jnana dasana sampannasa upanisa sampanno hoti nibbida virago. So, like Upanishad Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, that discourse was discussed some weeks ago. Like that, Sampajañña is coming with the support of other qualities. Here it is said, Sampajañña made other conditions to be like that, and Sampajañña is also conditional state. So that we need to have Kalyana Mitra quality, and also listening to right them to be able to cultivate Yoniso Manasikara and then Indriya Sangvara and so on. Somewhere with these things, Sampajañña is coming. If you look at Avidya Prahana Sutta, Sati Sampajañña is a result of Yoniso Manasikara. When there is Yoniso Manasikara, there is proper understanding on things better. So that we understand that Sati Sampajañña, just Sampajañña in this case, is something coming through the support of other subordinate qualities in the chain. So friends, therefore, cultivating Sampajañña is important. If we go back to the Satipatthana discourse, Gacchanto va gacchami iti pajanati. With the commentarial explanation and all these things, what do we understand there? Gacchanto va gacchami iti pajanati. So when you walk, you understand that this physical body is going to do the action called walking. So you become mindful. Purpose of walking is known now. Purpose of walking is to give some exercise, maybe gaining samadhi on walking posture. And for the long run in this training, you need some type of changing of postures for giving some energy to body. So that's the purpose, knowing the purpose. And the meditator, if you are in the forest monastic setting, you have a particular path to go back and forth. So when you start walking meditation there, you know what exactly the purpose. And the benefit in Chankamani Sutta, the Buddha talks about 5 benefits of walking. One is good physical health. The other one is good digestion. And also, the samadhi you develop in walking meditation is stronger than anything. So like that, Buddha talks about 5 kinds of good benefits of walking meditation. So when you know them, it's called Sampajañña, Sappaya Sampajañña, and Gochara Sampajañña. So you always know this particular walking body and sitting body and working and actions and so on. Gacchanto va gacchami iti pajanati, tito va tito miti pajanati, nisinno va nisonno miti pajanati, sayano va sayano mi pajanati, asite pite kaite, gate tite nisinne sutte jagrite, asite pite kaite sampajanakari hote. So no matter what you do, you become mindful, and with wisdom, you add wisdom there. Why do I eat? For what purpose I eat? What is the benefit of eating? What is the benefit of drinking? What is the benefit of sleeping? So when you go to sleep, you know that this body is sleeping, and the benefit of sleeping is striving for enlightenment, having a rest, and you know that after rest you can do better. So that so you go to sleep with knowing what you are doing, no asammosa, no ignorance there. So Sampajañña is therefore, friends, knowing basically the impermanence in one statement, the feelings, perception, and vitakka. What do you mean by these 3 things? Feeling, Vedana, and Sanya. Vedana, Sanya are inseparable. They are talk about in the Dhamma together. And vitakka means some type of thoughts. As we talk about vitakka in details, we know kama vitakka, vyapada vitakka, vihinsa vitakka. And then nekkama vitakka, avyapada vitakka, avihinsa vitakka. So sensual pleasure, and then what do you call, ill will, and also cruelty. And in the positive side, you have this what do you call, nekkama vitakka means thought of renunciation, compassion, and loving kindness. So in detail, if we go with the word vitakka, we can discuss them. But here, rising of vitakka, rising of persisting of vitakka, and also ending of vitakka is called sampajañña, because when you do any activity, you are mindful and wise enough of the action so that no space for akusala vitakka to arise, because you see the impermanence. So that is what some discussion says about sampajañña. So in Satipatthana, we know in details that Sampajañña Pabbha tells us that it's all about knowing the physical body with feeling, and that is called Sampajañña. So now we can discuss about Sampajañña, the importance of Sampajañña based on your experience as well as the doctrinal statement. I think Dr. Pial has raised his hand. Please.
Bhante, when you talk about this Satipatthana, where you kind of reference Atapi Sampajañño Satima, I think it's a very important thing, three things which we sometimes tend to ignore. These are the qualities of right mindfulness. So Atapi Sampajañño Satima is usually joined together as one word, but it can be also separate. Sati Sampajañña. Sati Sampajañña is like a close proximity they put together. But these are three Atapi Sampajañño Satima. So they kind of turn around like each like a feedback loop and creating right mindfulness. So of course the hindrance has to go. That's what they say, putting aside greed and greed and hatred to reference to this world. So in other words, putting aside hindrances. So when you come to that, Sati Sampajañña, I think is something, it's a atapi with the effort you put, right? That is the right effort. But all three has to be there. But Sampajañña, I mean, if you have a ayunusya manasikara, you can lead to asati asampajañña. So that's also, you have to be careful, but you have to put the right effort. That's a skillful effort. I mean, so if you have sati sampajañña to kill someone, like aiming and thinking about, like, so it's unskillful. So it is asati asampajañña relating to ayusya manasikara relating to asati asampajañña. So it is not the sati sampajañña we want to call in our practice. Also, the second point is, I feel that Satipatthana, according to Bhikkhu Analeo, it's a kind of a progressive steps. Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. These are like, so starting from basic phenomena like observing your breath, walking, Kayanupassana, the perception of your body, of your breath, and leading to second, Vedananupassana is like a more deeper. So I think the Sati Sampajañña is kind of a developing further here, as you say, observing a vitakka, which are all this Chittanupassana, like, and Dhammanupassana. So in other words, Sati Sampajañña is progressively developing towards the Dhammanupassana with as we go in this, as we progress in this practice of the four foundations. So it's a gradual development of Sati Sampajañña. That's what I feel, like what I understood from this Sati Sampajañña word. And also there's a beautiful metaphor Buddha talks about in mindfulness, where he talks about, this is easy to understand, Sati Sampajañña, for me at least. It's like a wise, experienced cook, right? When in a king, I mean, this is in the kitchen of the palace, there is a wise, experienced cook, but he knows what the king wants, what food the king wants. So he'd make more of this to make the king happy. Just like the mind, if you have Sati Sampajañña, is something creating Sampajañña is, I know what is good for me. I know what is beneficial for me. If I get angry and I'm aware of it, I know this is not good for me. So it's a wise experienced cook, but you're aware of what is good for you, what is bad for you. So that's like a metaphor I like to use in this situation. That's all some limits.
I mean, that's when I started telling about the metaphor, I just remember it. That is very important. Metaphor the Buddha gave. You know what exactly your dogs feel. Dog cannot talk, so you should have the sense of knowing what the dogs need now, what the dog says now, and what exactly the dog show us from his different behaviors. So that's called the sense of knowing. The Sati Sampajañña is something like that. You know what exactly this means. So you know what exactly he wants. He doesn't tell anything he wants by words, but from behavior, he may be showing something he needs. So we as Sampajañña people should know about it. Something like that is always emphasized as Sati Sampajañña with the metaphor. Thank you very much for pointing it out. Yes, indeed.
Sati alone is probably not enough. Sati is mindfulness, as you say, is the translation is what is said and done long ago. It is like a previous memory. But it is the right mindfulness is actually happening right now. It is a working memory. So these are two different things. So unless you put the Atapi Sampajañña Satima, then you get to the current working memory. Otherwise, you remember what is skillful. That is called what is said, done and long ago is Sati. Sati alone is not enough. I think to right mindfulness, you need all three qualities of this. I'm sorry, I just am telling too much.
No, that's good, because the components of right mindfulness, Samma Sati, is such that we have Sampajañña and Atapi should come together along with Sati again to make the Sati Samma. So otherwise, as you said, it's just only the bare mind, the memory, and so forth. So, for example, we remember of killing a human or animal for some time ago, and of course you remember it, but you may need to do it again just to enjoy it. So that's of course wrong mindfulness. But if we have right mindfulness there, we may understand the policy of our actions we did in the past, and you decide not to do it because Sati is being supported by Sampajañña and also Atapi Virya. So as you said, definitely Sati alone is nothing, but Sati with the participation of Sampajañña and Atapi is called right mindfulness. And with regard to what you said before about Satipatthana, yes, it is there. And if you look at the way the Buddha explained the other Anupassana, Vedana Anupassana, Chitta Anupassana, Dhamma Anupassana, the same term is there, even with the Dhamma Anupassana. Dhamme Dhammanupassi Virati Atapi Sampajañño Satima Vinaya Loke Abhijjadomnasa. So Dhamma is there. If you look at the detailed section of the Dhammanupassana, 5 hindrances, Upadana, then 7 factors of enlightenment, and so on. So it means you become mindful as well as have kind of wisdom on these negativities as well as positivities in our mind. And if you look at Chittanupassana, Chitte Chittanupassi Viharati Atapi Sampajañño Satima. You become mindful as well as wise about any sort of mind over there. Whether it is Saraga Chitta, you know this is Saraga, and the consequences of Raga Chitta passion is understood there. and you become wise about it, so that you have asammosa sampajañña is there, and you see the impermanence of that particular mind is also sampajañña. So when we take the very term sampajañña, we are not talking about very developed state of wisdom, but it is wisdom, right? Flourishing there. So when the wisdom faculty flourishing in our mind, and for that part we call sampajañña. So that's why because Sujato, I think, put the right word, situational awareness. In situation of your mind, of your feeling, of your perception, chanya, physical body, anything outside, they happen in different situations. So you understand when it happens, right? So that the sampajañña is always in the present moment, and because you understand when things happen. So thank you very much for your nice addition. So now we go to Chandra Nona. Take your time.
Venerable Bhante, actually what I'm going to see is something I learned from Venerable Bhante now Niyaridhamma Thero. He taught us in a different way. He said that these two go together, sati and sati sampajañña. Sati is not forgetting. He gave us easy words to remember. Sati is not to forget. If you are walking, you know that you are walking. If you are sitting meditation, you know that. Not to forget. And sampajañña is another wisdom that arises because of sati, that is wisdom on knowing, not deluded mind. That's the word he used. Moheng vasunu neti manasa, not deluded mind, and it's very alert and quality control, and always aware of the changes that take place, like if we get uneasy or restless or any five hindrances, we know. To know this, he said, it is a clarity, and if we are losing effort, we know that we are losing. And he said that we have to see to that, and then balancing every time. Then he said, he explained how these four factors come in. That is Sappaya, Sarthaka, Sammoha, Gochara, Sammoha. He said, now when we are meditating, if it is Anapanasati, and if whole time we are getting distracting thoughts or anger or feelings or restlessness, any one of the hindrances, he said that means your object of meditation is not correct. Asammoha sarthaka, that is, you have to select a better one. And then he explained that if it is anger, to get one type of object, and if it is greed or something, that you get thoughts about what you have to do tomorrow, then you have to select another way. And then he said it should fit the domain. For example, if we are walking, we should select something that fits that area, domain, what we are doing. And Asammoha, he completed saying that mindfulness actually is a factor that we have to develop further to Samma Samadhi. So Samma Samadhi has three sections, that is Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. So all three together he's considered as Asammoha, leading to Nibbana, because it's a fourth factor. So this is what I have to contribute.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, some of those statements from that venerable monk is really significant, because he used to contributed in a simple way for anybody to understand. That is very good. You become, you're not forgetting on what you do, is called mindfulness, sati, and being alert. That is the very important word. We ardently, sometimes we find in this translation the word ardently practice. So that represents the wisdom also in that word with virya. So yes, uh, being forgetfulness means you are not doing what you do, and ignorance might infiltrate our minds easily if you do not do what you do. So that keeping your mind on the thing you do is helpful for you to understand the meaning of what you do, so that you have aroused the seed of wisdom with that. I'm not going to say the same thing as you said. What you said is really clear and important. So what I'm emphasizing is that combining these sati, sampajañña, virya, and other things should be done by one who meditates, the one who practices dharma, in order for him or her to go forward. So that sampajañña could be developed, because sampajañña is coming with few things as we discuss, listening to the Dhamma and seeing the danger of suffering, and also the causes of suffering can make some people practice Sampajañña, Yoniso Manasikara, and anything supportive to begin the training. So one should have some conditions developed prior to this quality, so that they, based on those conditions, people can develop sampajañña. But unless you are a seeker of truth, you may not be able to understand these sampajañña, yoniso manasikara, all these terms, because you have to have such a mind to scrutinize your feeling, perception, mind and body into detail, so that you can understand subtle teaching like Sampajañña, Yoniso Manasikara, and Sati, and so on. So that's why we do not talk about these terms with general crowd, because in general, average people would like to hang on certain cultural, religious. They are very good for someone to hang on, but they do not understand the meaning behind these terms, sanya, upadana, and so on. If we use those terms in a short Dhamma sermon, in some places, in some houses, they never say that it is a bad sermon, but we feel that they understood very less. So these terms, my point is, these terms could be really digested only one who practices the Dhamma into a certain extent. So try to understand the term, see whether you can see it through your practice. If not, develop it. So when you develop one factor, you can see the opening doors to the other factors. So because that is how the Dhamma develops, that is how the negative things also come. If you are angry, you can also easily steal something of the person whom you are angry with. And if you are jealous, you can easily damage the property and kill human beings and so on. So when you have one unwholesome quality, the other unwholesome qualities are standing aside. Likewise, when you develop sampajañña, you can of course see sati is also there, and virya is also developing, shraddha is developing, urgency of Dhamma is rousing like a strong force, and you can feel it. So easily you can stop all these unnecessary things you have been doing, because those qualities govern you now. So friends, therefore, every week we try our best to discuss something positive, something important for your training, and embrace them with so much interest, and try to taste them, try to feel them, try to make your own things without changing the Dharma. You apply the Dharma according to your instinct and also behavior and so on. That's why we call Pachattang Viditabbo Vinyuhaiti. Depending on your skills, depending on the way you see, dharma could be applied in such a way, but the main dharma is not changed, but the way you dharma take in would be different. So that is something after you both talk in terms of sharing. Is there anyone who would like to say something about Sampajañña? I know that some people listen to many monks and lay people. Perhaps better explanation could be found in those preachers and books that you read, which I never quoted. So if you have any such experience, feel free to share them because it's useful for those listeners. If you don't have anything, we are going to end today. Yeah, please.
There is like a metaphor. I don't remember actually. I was trying to Google it and see the person who's like a blind man being carried on another man on shoulder. Do you remember somebody's trying to?
Oh yeah, that simile is given to understand the relationship between Nam and Rupa. The Rupa is a blind.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, the Rupa is a blind man, and Nama is the one who cripple. The one he cannot walk. So the man who is blind is taking that man who cannot walk into his shoulder.
Okay.
And the one he has eyesight, so he knows where to go. Suppose the man who is blind is walking, he's very strong physically to walk even long distance through any difficult place, but he cannot see. But the one who is on his shoulder can direct the blind person to the right place without falling into pits and muds and so on. So that is to show the inseparable connection between Nama and Rupa, as I remember.
Does it come in the sutra or is just somebody else's?
Yeah, it is in the sutra.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I was thinking of whether this is related to here, not so much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Actually, we can see the connection of Sati and Sampajañña in such a way because they are always talking about together, like Nam, Vedana, and Sanya. Sati Sampajañña. We cannot, if we talk about the that terms without thinking too much, we of course say Sati Sampajañña. We don't say it's Sati. If we intend first and talk, then you say Sati Sampajañña because it's automatically coming Sati Sampajañña because they are always should be together. Sati Sampajañña.
Wait, sir, isn't it easy for us to develop even jhanas with Sati and Sati Sampajañña because we know what we did and we won't forget and we repeatedly do the same way and we master our methods so that we can get into high levels of samadhi. Doesn't Sampajañña helps a lot because when we are meditating, we know when the nivaranas are not coming and we know when the breath is not visible and then it joins the feeling and then it joins the thinking and how it goes from step by step because of Sati Sampajañña.
Yeah, indeed. In Samadhi Bhavana Sutta of Rohitasavagga Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha clearly said that there is Samadhi Bhavana to develop Sati and Sampajañña. So the very idea of this meditation is to develop Samadhi, or in other words, the purpose of this particular the developing Samadhi is to develop Sati and Sampajañña. Why? Because in the category of Samadhi, we need to know the arising of feeling, arising of perception, arising of vitarka and so on. So seeing arising of those factors and vanishing them is really important, because that sustain samadhi itself and provide us a path to go to destruction of craving. Because when you, based on samadhi, in the samadhi you develop sati and sampajañña. Why? Because you want to see the exact picture of vedana, sanya, vitakka. What is the exact picture of vedana, sanya and vitakka? The impermanence. Very thing we want to know from sati and sampajañña is the impermanence of feeling, impermanence of perception, impermanence of vitakka and vichara. When you see the impermanence, you know the rest. You don't want to hang on to, you don't want to attach to it, because all are sankharas. So you come to know that all are sankhara. That's why they are changing. That's why they are rising and cannot held in such a state anymore, because sankharas, the nature of sankhara is changing. So this kind of investigation is done in samadhi when only one develops sati and sampajañña within the samadhi practice. So what you said is true. Sati sampajañña, development of sati sampajañña is key for samadhi, and samadhi itself in a reverse order develops sati and also sampajañña for knowing the factors to be known for destruction of craving. If you look at the fourth jhana, upekka satipari, let me remember the whole word of fourth jhana. Sukassacha pahana, dukkassacha pahana, pubbeva somanassa domanassanang attangama, upekka satipari suddhing patamang jhanang sampaja viharati. So what we talk about in the fourth jhana, no, you don't have previous suffering and happiness, present suffering and happiness, and no, you don't have anything like that. And so that upekka satipari suddhing. So in the fourth jhana, because of not having any pleasant or unpleasant thing in the fourth jhana, you have upekka, and upekka is developed by upekka sati parisuddhi. Mindfulness has clarified and cleared or cleans upekka, they are upekka sati parisuddhi. That is called for the fourth jhana. So in the fourth jhana, once again, we have sati is highly developed and upekka is highly developed. So what I want to show you here is that sati is developing samadhi, and samadhi itself make mindfulness stronger. So it could work vice versa. Anyamanya pachya, we say this in Paticcasamuppada, anyamanya Paticcasamuppada. So you help me and I'll help you.
Venerable sir, I have another question. Is sati sampajañña the beginning of developing panya, sila samadhi panya?
I used to think in such a way also, because yoniso manasikara, sampajañña, these are some terms that goes in line with the wisdom faculty. Yeah. So when you listen to dharma from somebody, that's called paratogosapachya, you are going to wisely think about it, which called yoniso manasikara. And right after yoniso manasikara, you have sampajañña. Yoniso manasikara has this nature that you question everything, whether this is true or not, based on some condition easily available. And then I'm not saying that yoniso manasikara has deep investigation too, because when the Sotapanna tries to attain, for example, next level Sakadagami, he uses yoniso manasikara. So even Anagami uses yoniso manasikara. I'm not denying in that. But when we take the comparison between yoniso manasikara, sampajañña, yoniso manasikara is much wider and mostly taking some possible available things to ponder and think. But when it comes to Sati Sampajañña, it's more subtle always. So dealing with mindfulness, perseverance in a subtle way, right? So suppose you see a person is hitting so hard to a cow, maybe for killing, and so you say how bad it is. This man is going to hurt that innocent animal, and demerits is accumulated in his mind, and so that shouldn't be done. And this may very close to yoniso manasikara for you, because you are taking some evidences for you not to killing living beings, harming living beings, and you develop compassion for the animal, even the man also. So that's mostly going yoniso manasikara. So now, right now, you understand how feeling of killing by that man and things like that arise in your mind, and that very refined state of mind is understood by you, and that's called Sati Sampajañña. You are going to make mental notes about impermanence of this and that. So that's how I understand both the Yoniso Manasikara and Sati Sampajañña when it compares. As you ask the question, I say yes. The wisdom is a whole faculty. Panya is a indriya, and that indriya means the kind of domain things in our mind. So Panya Indriya is coming into such state with the presence of Yoniso Manasikara and Sati Sampajañña.
Actually, when we say that now we go for Dhammanupassana, they are the Panchanivarnas when we consider is totally different from the beginning when we get them as visitors. Like as we meditate, we get Nivarnas. But when you come to a certain Samadhi level, and then you consider Pancha Upadanaskandha and Nivarana and the Four Noble Truth, and then you start seeing that they arise and pass away. Like you really, the Panya goes a deeper way, I think.
Yeah, true. In Dhammanupassana, we have Pancha Nivarana first, then I still cannot remember which comes first.
Pancha Nivarana, then
Upadana, then Salayatana.
Yeah.
Then we have the 7 factors of enlightenment, and then the 4 noble truths. These are the 5 sections we have in the Dhammanupassana. So if you look at the Veda Buddha explained first unwanted thing, unwholesome thing, then Salayatana should be there. So right after that you have the factors of enlightenment and the 4 noble truths. So in the Dhamma, within the Dhammanupassana, you have that sense that you have kind of wisdom to understand what Pancha Nivarana, 5 hindrances, and then Upadana and so forth. So you slowly, gradually progressing towards enlightenment to understand the 4 noble truths.
And
so,
the other
I think these are just I think these are just categorized to completeness sake. I don't think the Dhammanupassana, Nivarnas are already gone by the time you come to just to completeness sake, they put for Satra Satipat, like all this, they put it. But I think the main thing is the senses at that level is Dhammanupassana rising. Passing away of the and also you see the perception,
all the
feeling, and is nothing. Just they all arise and pass away, nothing to take, because they kind of bang together and something is produced and it's gone. So so there is, you can't say there is something. That's right. So there is nothing in between, empty.
No, doesn't that lead, like for example, if we see a rising and passing away, it leads to just seeing passing away, then the fear of the sanskara, and then you come to the balanced state.
Right.
I think they join one after the other. I don't know.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think. Simply, I think at the end of the day is the I arising and the object, and they create a whole sense of mental namadhammas, but they all arise and passing away. Whatever arises, it's there and it's passed away. Yankichi samudaya dhammam sabbandha nirodha dhammam. So you can arise or change and pass away. So it's if you say
doctor, but in real samadhi level, you see them rapidly rising and passing away. And then you see them
because of the rapidity only that's right, rapidity only that we cannot fathom this. That's the problem, is the speed. So once you slow it down, it's not no longer problem. I guess that's where the wisdom see it, because there's nothing, like, because it starts and it goes, like, what is there to grasp? Nothing. So it's shunyata, like, in other words saying they arise and pass. So what's the big deal of all this suffering we created? So it's a sankhara. We create our own suffering. In the end of the day, it's a construction. We construct it. It's not there, but we construct it. So we can unconstruct it.
No, but in meditation, it leads to a very high level of concentration. And there you may reach Maggapala. That's what I wanted to ask Bhante.
When you slow down, means your mind has stopped traveling all around into objects, so that the real speed of arising and passing is visible. Earlier, the same thing happened, but our mind was not clear enough to see that. So the
only under samadhi. Samadhi.
That's why Buddha asked everyone to gain a type of samadhi in order to do the vipassana clearly. Vipassana could be started by a beginner also, but most of those meditators are doing some type of samatha into a certain degree to take that clear mind. With clear mind, you can see the real speed of passing and rising of those phenomena.
I think it leads to Sankarupika.
On the pathway, it is the hallmark. It's a special place. So when you clear your mind and continue to clear further and further, you with wisdom, samadhi does not only does not giving us that thing that everything is sankara. It is the wisdom come play that this is sankara. So samadhi's duty of the samadhi, with the support of wisdom, is to push those hindrances away from mind. So whatever the samadhi technique is for that purpose. And then the wisdom is saying that, okay, this samadhi state and also what you now overcome, they are all sankaras, not only samadhi mind, but also those hindrances are also sankara. And your physical body is also sankara, and your mind is also sankara. Good things are also sankara and bad things. So that is what wisdom does for us. So duty of samadhi, duty of sati, duty of yoniso manasikara, duty of wisdom, duty of virya, and we have to understand all these duties of each enlightened factor, so that it's easy for us to develop those faculties in a alone as well as together. I'm saying in the matter of saying that you can develop it alone, but prominently you can develop one quality with the participation of other qualities, like Buddha Puja. Buddha Puja is considered an act to develop Shraddha, because you are thinking about the Buddha qualities in a surface level, because chanting is fast into a certain degree, so that you cannot go into details of the Buddha's nature during the chanting, so that we focus only creating that faithful nature, pema, on the Buddha. Buddha used that word in the Mahanama Sutta. If you have prem, at least a simple prem on me, you are going to have something positive in the sansara. So
and there's an interesting sutta when it says eka udana, eka uda sutta, where this monk knew only one verse. And
Yes.
he was preaching the devas, and they applaud and they were very happy. But two learned monks go there and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And
Because
yeah,
because the monk who did the same thing every day
I think
was
Eka
Eka Udanattariya.
that's
So
right.
he was an arahant, definitely.
Yeah.
What he was preaching every day on everyday basis is the same stanza and the same thing. But what he was preaching was right and up to the point, because he was an arahant. He doesn't know anything other than this stanza and the explanation behind it.
I think it's one of the Dhammapada Gatha.
Yeah, two learned monks came and they were, masters on different areas of the Dhamma, but they didn't like it because what they have preaching is not something they already tasted.
And the devas didn't applaud.
Yeah, yeah. All right, it's 9:20 now, I guess, 16. 9:16 is time to stop today's Sutta study class. Based on one particular Dhamma fact, we were able to discuss important Dhamma based on different discourses. So try to work on Sampajañña further, make it your own, so that you can continue to grow your practice. So that's our message. And if you find something interesting, you can email me and I can share it with others. So basically, Sampajañña is something very important for our practice. Develop it until you end this cycle of suffering. May you all attain Nirvana by the power of these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.